Shine, shine, shine your light. Shine, shine, shine.
Hello. It's Nancy Maddox with the WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we are on Shine Your Light Radio Ministry. I'm broadcasting out of Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm so excited to be here today. We have a beautiful, fantastic, awesome young woman guest that we're going to talk to today that's going to share with us about her books and as well as her life. So it's going to be really, really enlightening to all of us. And at WYTV7, we have a motto that says, if we touch one, then we've done our job. So I'm really excited about this. Let me introduce our guest today. Her name is Miss Leah Forney, Forney. She is the oldest girl of 6 siblings. She lives in South Carolina and is from New York. And she learned at an early age the importance of having a relationship with Jesus Christ from her maternal grandmother, who raised her in the church. So that's really exciting. And at a very young age, she would pen poems to release the pain that she felt for not having her parents in her life. She's released her first book, Unapologetically Me, Living, Owning, and Walking in My Truth, on April the 1st. She's also the founder of Project Give Back. So we have a very exciting person here today that's going to share with us. So Miss Leah, hello, and thank you so much for being on the show. Without further ado, let's get started. Tell us a little bit about your testimony and your life and what started you on your journey.
Thank you for having me, Nancy. So I'm born and raised in New York City. I was raised by my maternal grandmother. My mom and my dad, unfortunately, were addicts and in and out of prison systems my entire life. So my grandmother and my aunt, my mom's sister, raised me. I'm the oldest girl out of 6 siblings. So I have an older brother and I have 2 baby brothers and the rest all girls. So growing up, it was difficult, not having a mom there, not having a dad there, especially in my adolescent years when you're going through puberty and you're going through those changes as a young girl and really just not knowing how to navigate through womanhood. So thankfully, I had my maternal grandmother and my aunt who was just amazing, and they helped me and they raised me well. But my grandmother always instilled God in me as a child. Always said, if you don't have nobody, you have Jesus. So since I was a kid, I always turned to the Lord. I remember as a child just like writing letters to God, like if I was to write to Santa, thinking that I could just send it in the mail and it'll reach heaven somehow. And so I've always had this relationship with him, despite my trials, despite my tribulations, despite the things that I've gone through. And it's been an amazing journey so far.
Well, you are a courageous young woman, that's for sure. And God does speak through you. So that's just really, really a humbling experience and exciting. And we never know what we say when we're going to touch people. And again, if we touch one person, then I feel like we've done what we needed to do. But in this case, since this is aired on YouTube and aired on iHeartRadio, we're going to be touching thousands of people. So I'm really excited about that. Excited for you. Be able to get your story out, and let's talk about your your books just a little bit too. As far as growing up in New York City, that's a tough place to grow up. I mean, the ones of us in the South that have lived in the South all our life, we only see the news and hear what we hear on the news throughout all these years. But I know it must have been a really tough for you as a young lady growing up in New York. But as you wrote these poems or letters to God, did you save those? Are there any left, or?
I wish I did. I really do. I wish I did. I think that if I did, it'd probably been like a great journal that I could have produced one day. But I didn't. Honestly, these were just outlets to kind of express that pain, that You know, why did I have to be the different kid? You know, I couldn't be like my friends who came home to mommy and daddy. Like, what made me so unique? And I struggled with that for a long time because I always felt like, what did I do wrong? You know, but eventually, through prayer, I realized that, you know, God doesn't make mistakes, and he allows us to go through things because it's for his glory, but it's also to like help other people through. And even though I still have moments where I struggle with that in times, especially as an adult, one in my mom, one in my dad, you know, I don't forget the blessings that I do have. I still have my grandparents, you know, I still have other people that have became like family for me. So God always shows me, you might not have gotten what you wanted as a child, but look at the blessing. Look at the people around you that love you just as much as their own.
Yes, ma'am. We serve such an awesome God, and so full of grace and just so full of everything that helps us through our trials and tribulations. And it's hard to realize that when we're children.
Yeah.
But I had a 25-year career in a financial institution, a credit union in Jacksonville, Florida. And I always, as I mentored young people, I always told them, as you're growing up and when you're in your young years, do a journal. Write a journal, even if it's only a couple of sentences a day, because you never know when that's going to turn into a book. You take the whole journal and turn it into a book and help thousands of people with just your thoughts for the day, the trials you're going through. And I actually did that myself. I had a journal that I kept through my 25-year career at the credit union, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad. And I actually turned it into a book.
Awesome.
And I adapted it and turned it into a book for marketing because I grew the credit union to be so large and went through so many trials, especially as a woman in a man's world. So I really, because financial institutions aren't real well known for putting women in the CEO positions, but I was there from a long time ago where I started there. But anyway, I always tell people, always keep your journal, even if it's just a few sentences a day, because it'll be valuable to you later on in life, and you can actually turn it into a book and help other people. So I always share that when I'm mentoring young people. So, but anyway, that's just awesome. So we're going to switch gears just a little bit here and talk about your book. I want to really elaborate on this book, Apologetically Me. Unapologetically Me, and I want you to kind of tell me what started you on the book and how you started and how you made it through writing it, because I know it's a lot of rehab.
Yeah.
Therapy, writing a book. And so let's talk a little bit about that. Tell us a story about that.
Well, when I started writing, actually, I wanted to write a book about me and my mother's relationship because there was a year in my life that God has spoken to me and said, I need you to go get your mom. I need you to take care of her. And I struggled through that, Nancy. Like, I struggled through that. I call it my Moses moment. Like, I had that moment that Moses had when God said, I need you to go back and free my people. It was like, what? Me? Why? Like, I don't want to do it. So I really struggled with that. But ultimately, I ended up obedient. And I went back to New York and I got my mom and I brought her back to North Carolina. And it was such a struggle emotionally because I had all these bottled up emotions for 20 something years. You know, this is the woman that walked out on me at 2. And here I am faced to see her in my 20s, my late 20s at that. And so I didn't really know how to deal with that. But thank God that through counseling and church, you know, we were able to mend that. And I was able to forgive her and really understand why she left. So when the Lord said to me, it's time to write a book, I was like, okay, I'll write about me and my mom for this last year. And so I started writing it, but then he shifted it. And he was like, no, you can't really tell her story until you first tell your story. And so I was like, like, no, I don't want to tell my story. Like, do you know what I've done? Do you know the things that I've gone through? And he's like, yep. And that's why you need to write it. So Unapologetically Me really came from prayer and just hearing God say, okay, you have to share this story because you're about to affect so many people. And I have, and it's honestly been the most humbling experience because I really didn't think I had a story. And I really didn't think that it mattered. You know, the enemy likes to make you feel like your testimonies and your seasons don't matter. And so I didn't think it mattered. And just through prayer and really saying, okay, Lord, if this is what you want me to do, you know, guide me. And I found that as I prayed, the words flowed. And so it took me about 1.5 years to actually write it. And it was rehab. I mean, those old wounds definitely came off, and the tears flowed. And it was moments where I was like, I can't even write today because I'm crying so bad. But it was a beautiful rehab because I got to look back on areas of my life that really did cause damage and just see the beauty and the growth since then. And so it was rehab, but 1.5 years, I connected with a woman that I went to church with, and she was an author as well as a publisher. So we connected, and I sent her my work, and she was like, oh yeah, we got to get this out. This is a story. And so we worked together for about 1.5 years, and she produced it. I actually have a copy of it.
Yay, thank you for that.
And so it's been an amazing journey. It really has. It's been an amazing journey. And so I just thank God for it.
Well, you know, we never quite understand what God actually puts us through.
Yeah.
God puts us through a lot too, besides the worldly tribulations that we have to go through and overcome. God really, I always say that God just nags you until you do what he tells you to do.
Oh, yeah.
They take years, but that's okay because, you know, in the end, it gets it all out. It relieves your mind. It relieves just a lot of pressure of everything that you're going through. And really, I think that all people that write a book about their stories and their life, they all go through that. I know I did when I wrote my book about my 25-year career. I'm like, you know, I cried a lot. I laughed a lot. I recollected a lot of things that I just really didn't want to face again. I said, I'm retired from that, but I've done all that. I don't want to do that again, God. But I'm like, no, I have to do this because God kept telling me that people need this. People that have small businesses need to learn how to market and get over the things just like we do with our trials in our personal lives. So I really do think that God is speaking through you, and God has helped you through that. I really do believe that. And I'm really appreciative for the lady that helped you and encouraged you, because we all need that. We all need encouragement to know. So what is your definition of purpose, Miss Leah?
My definition of purpose is God-given. It is that thing that really just burns on the inside of you. It wakes you up. It's that passion that you have to just do what it is that God has called you and created you to do. Not do what everybody else is doing, but stick to your own lane. Do the things that God, you know, deep down inside, God is calling you to this. That's purpose to me, because we see so many people today that want to do what everybody else is doing. And God didn't create us to be the same. He created us to be unique, and he's given us our own gifts, our own talents. And so, like I tell people, you know, I may be an author. That doesn't necessarily mean that's your calling. You know, we all can do things different and better than each other. That's why he's gifted us that way. So I might be the writer in my family, but my sister is the cook. I can't cook, but she's amazing at what she does, you know? So that's purpose to me. It's that thing that wakes you up, and you just have to do it because you know that is what you're called to do.
Well, I absolutely love to hear you say that. Passion has been my motto all my life. And I'm really excited to hear you speak the words you just spoke, because isn't it so appropriate at this time in our history? I mean, I've just had sleepless nights lately over the division and everything that's happening in our country. And all I can really say is hashtag God bless America.
Oh,
because God is not ready to write Ichabod on our country. He's just not. But we somehow just have to have the courage to say, let's stop. Let's
Yeah.
just love each other and let's have a passion to get along, just like you said. Not everybody's as talent. Not everybody has the same talent that I have or you have. We all have different talents, and we all just have to love each other and promote each other. So I'm just really, really hitting on that in my interviews this week because I've been so upset over what's
Yeah.
happening. But I just think it's prophetic for you to even say those words. So I'd like to say now that we're broadcasting. If you're just joining us, we're broadcasting on WYTV7 in Charlotte, North Carolina, which is a nonprofit. So if you feel led to do so, please plant a seed in WYTV Christian Broadcasters Network. We use that money to promote our broadcast and to get it out to more and more people. We have many broadcasters on the station that talk about a lot of different things, and we use that money, those donations, to promote the broadcast. So if you see fit and you're listening to this, please make a donation to WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network in Charlotte. And I'm on Shine Your Light Radio Ministry here in Little Rock, Arkansas. And our very beautiful and special guest is Leah Forney. She is in South Carolina. So let's continue on with our interview, Miss Leah. What inspired you to start writing? I think you may have already hit on this a little bit, but tell us a little bit more about this.
Well, yeah, I started originally as a child, and then I went through some trials and tribulations, and I stopped writing. Life happened, and I got so devastated that I said I was never, ever picking up a pen again. I was never going to write. And the reason for that was, at the time, I had been sexually assaulted a few times in my life. And so I was just so broken that I was like, I'm never going to do this. And so after about 4 years of counseling, and really just dealing not just with the sexual assault, but every abusive situation that I had gone through from childhood on, I dealt with it. I got healed from it, and I got inspired to write again. So every now and then something would hit my spirit, and I would either type it in the notepad on my phone or just start jotting it down. And looking back, I think that was God's way of reintroducing me to writing again. You know, he was kind of like, he would give me little things and I would be like, ooh, that's good. And I would just write, not realizing that he was preparing me for this moment that I'm in now. Because I told him, I was like, I'll never write again. And I think God was like, no, you're going to write again. It's not going to happen now, but you'll write again. And so little by little, I would pen stuff. And then that's when I think he was just brewing that book in me. And eventually it was like, okay, the time is now.
Absolutely. I told you, God will nag you till you do what you're supposed to do. So, what do you hope your readers gain from reading your book, Miss Leah?
The biggest takeaway I want people to walk away with is to know that you're an overcomer. Know that you're really stronger than you think you are. I know a lot of times life happens and we feel so defeated, but we are stronger than we think we are. And really, I really would love for people, if they don't have a relationship with God, to really know who he is. And I think my story in itself will show you that there is a God, especially in today's climate where things are just so chaotic. There's still a God, and he watches and he loves and he's gracious and he's merciful. And so I really want my readers to not only be inspired by my story, but be inspired to come to know this man named Jesus. Be inspired to, if you have that relationship and maybe you haven't spoken to him in a while, to rebuild that relationship, get back to knowing who he is, because he's there. Even when it doesn't look like it, he's right there. The scripture tells us he doesn't slumber nor sleep. So when we're up worrying about things, he's like, I got this. You can go to bed. I got this. And so I really want people to be inspired to not only own your truth, be honest about the things you've gone through. Don't let your past hold you back. It's just a part of your life. It's not the rest of your life. And really just live in the moment, live your journey, walk through this thing called life and make it the best life. Make it the best life you can possibly have, because he's already gifted you with it. He gave you the tools. He gave you his word. All you have to do is walk it out.
And therein lies the greatest, most difficult thing that we all can do. You know, God tells us to go into the world and spread the word, and that's what we need to do.
Yep.
But it's so difficult to even face what's happened to us or where we've been, and even to get the courage to talk. But that's what God does for us. He gives us the courage, and we do need to follow his commandments. We need to listen and be still and listen, and we need to go into the world and spread the good word, because like I say, if we touch one person, we've done our job. This is going to touch thousands of people. Also, I think that was a great thing that you said, how you want to inspire other people, because it will inspire other people, especially young women that are maybe going through the same things that you went through. You always think you're alone when you're in these situations, and you're never alone. For one thing, God is always with you.
Yep.
God's watching out for you. God will never give you more than you can handle. But that's hard. That's just to try to say that and do that. But they all need to know, people need to know that they're not alone through their trials and their tribulations, because there's always someone there, God, and then there's always other people that have already been through it that would be more than happy to share, how to get through these tribulations. What have you learned about yourself during this experience of becoming an author?
Oh, I've learned a lot. I think the biggest thing is that I am stronger than I thought I was, and that I've overcame a lot. I don't typically give myself that much credit. And so I've learned that, looking back over my life and just the first 30 years, it's been a journey, but it's been a rewarding journey. And I've overcame a lot. I can say that now, and I can say that with pride and joy, because things that were designed to take me out, God said not so. And so I've learned that, even through the trials, even through the tribulations, that I'm still here and I'm still standing. And I may have bended, but I'm not broken. And so that is what I've learned the most. And it has kept me humble, because I've had people. I actually ran into one of my readers this past Sunday in church. I was visiting a church and didn't even know this lady purchased my book, and she just kept staring at me. She's like, "You look so familiar." And then she yelled, and she was like, "Oh my God, you're the young lady on the cover of my book that I brought." And it was so cool, but it was so humbling, because I was like, wow, I didn't think that just writing this book was going to get this type of reaction from people, because for me, it's just me. It's my truth. It's my life. But to everybody that has read it, it has just been an inspiring journey for them. And they have been able to be like, wow, if she can come through all of that, I know I can make it through the stuff I've gone through.
That's right. That's exactly right. We're going to switch gears a little bit more. So kind of tell me what the future holds. I know you're penning some more books, because as a published author, we can't write just one book, because things are going to start bubbling up. You still got to tell about your relationship with your mom and how that happened and how you mended that. So tell us a little bit about what the future holds for you. What do you want to do in the future?
Well, the future is bright. I got my hands in a few things. I am writing 2 more books. So my second book is done. It's called The Courage to Win. And I got inspired by that book, just watching Facebook and my social medias and seeing so many people struggling to keep going. And so I wrote this book about just how to keep getting that second win, even when you feel like life is knocking you down. How do you keep having the courage to keep winning? Because it does take courage. It takes courage to keep getting up, and keep facing the day, even with all the adversity that is coming your way. It takes courage to keep doing it. So that's book number 2. And then I'm currently writing my 3rd book called The Silent Year. And it talks about how do you stay faithful to God when he's not speaking. You know, God puts us through seasons sometimes where he just gets silent and you're wondering, well, do you hear me? Like, I'm praying, hello. And so that's what I'm working on now. And then I have my my community service project I call Project Give Back. And what we do is try to find different homeless shelters and organizations to just donate to, whether it be toiletries or clothes. So I started that actually in May, Mother's Day weekend. I actually went to a homeless shelter in Savannah, Georgia, and I fed them and I donated like boxes on top of boxes of toiletries. And it was actually a Christian organization, and they are really doing an amazing job, really just trying to keep homelessness down in Savannah, Georgia. And so this October, I will be partnering with an organization called People Against Rape, and donating to them because they're really doing a great job in Charleston, South Carolina, with trying to build up emergency shelters for individuals that are facing sexual assault or domestic violence issues in the home and just need that safe space.
And so I think that's really great thing for you to do, because we all need to be humbled and give back after we receive such wonderful blessings.
Yeah.
And we'll receive more blessings after we give blessings to other people. And also, People Against Rape, I noticed on your Facebook page that you do have some things on there about domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you say no more, something like that.
Yeah.
So is that kind of like what you're doing with that on the People Against Rape?
It's actually just what I do. I'm an advocate because I've gone through it. So I truly believe that we can't stop. We can't only advocate in October for Domestic Violence Month and April for sexual. So it should be in year round because it's happening year round. And so I just constantly put stuff out to, let people know that it's happening. We can't keep turning a blind eye and acting like it's not going down because it is. And so that's just my way of constantly just advocating and keeping it out there.
Wow. It's fantastic. Again, if you're just joining us, we're about to close out our interview with a beautiful young lady, a published author, Miss Leah. And we're on Shine Your Light Radio Ministry. And I'm in Little Rock, Arkansas, broadcasting. Miss Leah is in South Carolina. And our radio station, WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network, is in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we're almost finished with our interview, Miss Leah, but I would like to give you a chance to say a few closing words and also give us your contact information so people know where they can go to get the book and maybe when your other books are starting to come out. Okay.
So you can actually reach me on Facebook. I have an author's page. It's Leah M. Forney on Facebook. Instagram, I am Leah Michelle. You can email me at author Leah M. Forney at gmail.com. Also, those are my contact information.
Okay.
But my closing words would be trust God, trust his process, trust his word. Like my spiritual father will say, you got to work the word just like you work your faith. And so regardless of what you're going through, know that he's with you. Know that he's always going to be with you. And even in those seasons where he gets silent, he's still there. The teacher is always quiet during the test.
Wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'm very happy that you came on today to talk to us. And I know people are going to really learn a lot from listening to your interview. Again, the name of her book is Unapologetically Me.
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Leah.
Thank you, Nancy.
Shine, shine, shine your light. Shine, shine, shine your light. Shine, shine, shine your light. Shine, shine, shine.